Okay, welcome back everyone. So we are currently reading A Troggle Humper for the Flesh Lump Eater, and here is a picture. Here is the picture of the BFG blowing the awful nightmare into the Flesh Lump Eater. Okay, so now he said we is waiting for the gun and flames to begin. They didn't have to wait long. The air was suddenly pierced by the most fearful roar Sophie had ever heard, and she saw the flesh lump eater's body, all 54 feet of it, rise up off the ground and fall back again with a thud. Then it began to wriggle and twist and bounce about in the most violent fashion. It was quite frightening to watch. "Ah!" roared the flesh lump eater. "Ah! Ooh!" "He's still asleep," the BFG whispered. "The trog-humping nightmare is beginning to hit him." "Serves him right," Sophie said. She could feel no sympathy for this great brute who ate children as though they were sugar lumps. And here is another picture of the flesh lump eater writhing around in his nightmare. "Leave us!" screamed the flesh lump eater, thrashing about madly. "He is after me! He is getting me!" The thrashing of limbs and the waving of arms became more violent by the second. It was an awesome thing to watch such a massive creature having such mighty convulsions. "It's Jack!" bellowed the flesh lump eater. "It's the grooveful, gruncious Jack! Jack is after me! Jack is whack-crackling me! Jack is spike-sticking me! Jack is splash-punking me! It's the terrible fright-swiping Jack!" The flesh lump eater was writhing about all over the ground like some colossal, tortured snake. "Oh, spare me, Jack!" he yelled. "Don't hurt me, Jack!" "Who is this Jack he's on about?" Sophie whispered. "Jack is the only human being all giants is afraid of," the BFG told her. "They is all absolutely terrified of Jack. They is all hearing that Jack is a famous giant killer." "Save me!" screamed the flesh lump eater. "Have mercy on this poor little giant! The beanstalk is coming with me, and with his terrible spike-stickling beanstalk! Take it away! I was begging you, Jack, I was praying you not to touch me with your terrible spike-sticking beanstalk!" "Us giants," the BFG whispered, "is not knowing very much about this dreaded human being called Jack. We is knowing only that he is a famous giant killer, and that he is owning something called a beanstalk. We is knowing also that this beanstalk is a fearsome thing, and Jack is using it to kill giants." Sophie couldn't stop laughing. "What is you giggling at?" the BFG asked her, slightly nettled. "I'll tell you later," Sophie said. And here they're having their little, you can see them whispering under the rock while the giants, well, what's happening to the giants in the background? The awful nightmare had now gripped the great brute to such an extent that he was tying his whole body into knots. "Do not do it, Jack!" he screeched. "I was not eating you, Jack! Jack! I has never eaten human beings, I swear! I has never gobbled a single human being in all my wholesome life!" "Liar," said the BFG. Just then one of the flesh lump eater's flailing fists caught the still fast asleep meat-dripping giant smack in the mouth. At the same time one of his furiously thrashing legs kicked the snoring, gizzard-gulping giant right in the guts. Both the injured giants woke up and leapt to their feet. "He is swiping me right in the mouth!" yelled the meat dripper. "He is bung-swallowing me smack in the guts!" shouted the gizzard gulper. The two of them rushed at the flesh lump eater and began pounding him with their fists and feet. The the wretched Flesh Lampeter woke up with a bang. He awoke straight from one nightmare into another. He roared into battle, and in the bellowing, thumping, rough and tumble that followed, one sleeping giant after another either got stepped upon or kicked. Soon all 9 of them were on their feet, having the most almighty free-for-all. They punched and kicked and scratched and bit and butted each other as hard as they could. Blood flowed. Noses went crunch. Teeth fell out like hailstones. The giants roared and screamed and cursed, and for many minutes the noise of battle rolled on across the yellow plain. The BFG smiled a wide smile of absolute pleasure. "I is loving it when they is all having a good tough and rumble," he said. "They'll kill each other," Sophie said. "Never," the BFG answered. "Those beasts is always bishing and walloping at one another. Soon it will be getting dusky and they will be galloping off to fill their tummies." "They're coarse and foul and filthy," Sophie said. "I hate them." As the BFG headed back to the cave, he said quietly, "We certainly was putting that nightmare to good use, though, wasn't we?" "Excellent use," Sophie said. "Well done, you." So there we go. Right, so it's well, the BFG said it's getting close to the time that the other giants go off to eat human beings. So I'm thinking, quite a while ago, Sophie was talking about a plan to stop them or get rid of them, but they haven't mentioned that for a while. I wonder if they are going to stop them or not. What's going to happen? So we've learned all about the worst possible nightmares that you could capture, and our next chapter is called Dreams. And I will leave you with this wonderful illustration of the giants having their big free. Doesn't look very pleasant, does it?